First method we're going to talk about is organic recruiting methods. Other words for organic would be no cost. So a lot of people come into this and don't know where to spend their money, worried about how to spend their money on finding talent. The good news is that some of your best talent can be found through organic methods. And what I'm going to show you today are a couple of different methods that definitely work. I'm going to show you what I'm doing in order to implement these strategies and what you can do within your own network to do the same thing. So the first thing we're going to talk about is social media based recruiting. So the wonderful world of Facebook, LinkedIn, perhaps even YouTube and Instagram give you a wide variety and a huge opportunity to create meaningful connections on social media that you can turn into profitable business relationships. The great thing about these media is that this is where most people live. And unlike the traditional forms, which we will talk about, of prospecting for insurance agents, you get the opportunity to develop something further than just a cold introduction. You get the opportunity to develop a personal brand, to develop a relationship with agent prospects, and to do your due diligence on them so by the time you talk to them, perhaps you know a little bit about them. And perhaps you can delve into a relationship that's something more substantive than just plain old cold calling, let's say. So I'm going to talk to you again about why I think social media is where you should focus. There's also going to be, as I'll talk about in a minute, a two-pronged strategy, very basic but effective strategy over time that will help you produce lots of business as far as agents go. So again, I like social media just because it allows me to position myself as an expert, as a recruiter, as an agency builder, and it allows me to share myself with a marketplace of agents that hopefully will develop a almost celebratory, is that a word? Celebrity-like, there we go, a celebrity-like connection with. One of the things I can tell you that no matter what kind of medium that you use, it could be YouTube, it could be Facebook, Instagram, the beauty of social media is that if you stick with it long enough and you are sincere in your intent to help people and you create great content that people really like, you create a celebrity effect. I know because I have been on YouTube, as many of you know, talking about life insurance and final expense since 2014, give or take. And it's weird because I look around right now and I'm just in a spare bedroom in my house, but I'll have people, again, not to brag, but just to show you the effects, that call and they're like, wow, I can't believe I'm talking to Dave Duford. You know, and I'm just like, I'm a dude in my basement, you know, or a dude in my spare bedroom. You know, I don't think much of it, but what happens is when you build your personal brand, you create a connection similar to what Hollywood does with people who watches movies. So you'll be famous to a small group of people. But the beauty is creating a personal brand adds a tremendous amount of value, and it totally differentiates you from what your main competition's doing in the recruiting world, which is selling contracts or pimping contracts, as I like to say, or doing things that don't necessarily build trust or likability, and really leave a lot that you can take advantage of and leverage. So again, I mentioned a couple things on here. Personal branding, of course, personal conversations. I can't help but to tell you how important Facebook has been. And this is coming from somebody who has been anti-Facebook really up to about a year ago. I did not like Facebook. I thought it was a waste of time, but here I am right now doing a live stream to a bunch of people, telling them how wonderful it is. And what I did was embrace the personal connection that you can make out of Facebook. And really the interaction you have with people and on social media is really up to you. What you make of it, whatever you make of it. And if you want to look at it as a tool that you can create closer, better personal relationships, it's definitely something you can do. But what's great about Facebook, like I said, is it provides you the opportunity to learn more about your agent prospects before you talk to them. It also allows what we call attraction-based marketing, where people are attracted to you, the personal branding that we talked about a moment ago. And in order to develop some sort of tangible or intangible differentiation that adds value to the relationship that you can provide or the relationship you can have with your agents. So, and you can have personal conversations. You can talk with agents, you can help them out, you can provide value, and you can immediately differentiate yourself from, again, the chops that just recruit and don't provide much else. And the nice thing is with certain types of social media, as we'll talk about momentarily, you have the ability to niche down to specific types of agents, again, all on an organic basis. So the nice thing is that if I want to target a particular type of agent, and we'll talk about this in more detail later, who works with a certain company, and I have an understanding of what goes on in that company, I can create a very customized, custom-tailored conversation based on what I'm seeing. And sure, I still have to put the activity in, and I may not get a positive reception, of course, but you can initiate a powerful conversation with some forethought and a little bit, not a lot, of due diligence and research on the company as well as the person. And you can put yourself in a position to recruit quality people that may not have a good fit for wherever they are right now. If you're targeting agents who are already in the business but maybe not happy, which to me in some cases is a great source of leads. Not always, but in some cases they are. So let's talk about what the best social media to use is. Again, I mentioned all four of these. I think for different reasons, you're going to find one better than the other. Most of my experience has been on YouTube. I have marginal experience on Facebook, a little bit of relative okay experience on Facebook, marginal on LinkedIn and Instagram. I think that, I'll go back here and spend some time kind of fleshing this out. I think that if an agency, somebody desiring to build an agency is asking me what platform should I spend time on recruiting, I would definitely say that the first two are the best. And here's why. The first two allow for the personal, not just the personal conversations, but also the branding element. And you have the ability to do due diligence and research on an individual and to find out more about them before you actually approach them. So you can do a very warm cold call, I guess you can say, or warm cold message that will stand out from a lot of the spam and the cold calls that they get all the time. Whereas YouTube's been wonderful to me. That's been my primary source of recruiting. The problem with YouTube is there's still opportunity in YouTube. You just got to find your niche within, whatever segment you're looking at, like life insurance or different aspects of it. But YouTube takes a long time to get set up. And the bad thing about YouTube, and I didn't discover this until later, is that I can't reach out to people per se who watch all my content. I can't do it as easily. I don't know who watches it. I can get comments, but I can't trace those people in most cases back to Facebook or YouTube where I can get a conversation going with them, where I can attempt to initiate the conversation. YouTube is powerful in its distribution, but I have to wait on people to call me. And that process took me really till 2015 of putting up tons of content. And this is when there wasn't a lot of competition for, training on YouTube. But it took 1 or 2 years until things really started picking up. And I had this fun. It's funny. I had the same conversation with Cody Askins, who has a very popular page as well. And it was the same thing with him. He just stuck with it, and it took him It took him about a year or two before he started creating some traction and getting some consistency out of his social media. So I like Facebook and LinkedIn for you guys that are getting started, just because it just allows for the best elements that I've experienced in YouTube, but it allows you to create relationships with people, to create connections, to reach out, do due diligence, start conversations, and then hopefully convert some of those people over to members of your agency that work with you. I didn't speak much about Instagram, but Instagram is something that can definitely have the same type of effects. You can DM people, you can create content. There's a lot of eyeballs on Instagram. Not a lot of agents doing much with it, I can tell you, because I do a little bit on Instagram, but not a ton. But there's a lot of opportunity there, and I don't think enough people take advantage of that as a source of brand building. Now, let me go ahead and again, if you watch this, guys, if you got any questions, you're welcome to ask away. Great. let's see here. Got a question from, hey Kyle, what's going on? What is the first step in starting my agency? Say I wanted to start making recruiting calls next week. So why don't we do this? Why don't we get to the end of this? And I think you'll have a good idea of kind of where to start after you watch this, because we'll go over all the elements here. Sorry for the weird background here. We'll go over all the elements and strategies that you can certainly implement. And then you can decide for yourself which approach works best. I think with your background, you've got a unique story, Kyle, knowing you. I think once we get through some of this, hopefully kind of as I'm speaking here, we'll kind of clear up some ideas. And I can certainly talk to you off the camera here and give you some ideas. But I think an appropriate strategy will be based on your background and your experience selling insurance and being able to talk to people who have a similar background. So I'll just kind of leave it at that. We can flesh that out later. But I think strategizing and targeting a certain agent is a really good idea because of certain things that go on. Again, I'm getting ahead of myself here, but exciting to talk about because you can really be very effective in even a cold approach if you get the list perfect. And I'm going to show you how to do all that. Are you an insurance agent who is interested in building your own agency? If that's the case, then beware. There are so many opportunities, quote, opportunities, out there for agents to level up their game and build their agency that put all sorts of contingencies and stopgap measures to prevent you from actually owning your agency and maximizing your commission. I put together a new program for those agents who are interested in creating their own agency. It doesn't matter what product you sell, but to give you the knowledge and the pathway to own the entire process of growing your agency and scaling it and making sure that no one, not a single company, person, or upline owns you, where you own the thing outright and you build your agency in your vision only. This program is something you can learn more about very easily if you go to davidduford.com. Click at the top that says Join Dave's Agency. You'll see a part there where it says Agency Builder Program or something like that. Check that out, review it, and then feel free to get back with me if it's something that's interesting to you and useful, especially if you're looking to grow an agency and understand the importance of building an independent way that has no entangling alliances with anyone except the vision that you have. So thanks for watching and hope to hear from you soon. See you. Bye.